President Tinubu arrives Japan ahead of Tokyo International Conference.
States can carry out certain things that were exclusive to the federal government, which is in the constitution now.
Nigeria begins review of revenue sharing formula after 33 years. Rising sea level, many living in fear. House of Representatives proffers solution.
Every government at the local and state level, they know the flood is coming.
Such a pleasure to have you join the Network News on NTA with me, Naja'atu Tijani. Joining us from Lagos, Hingino John Adams. And here in our Abuja studios, Musa Abubakar with Business News and Ayodeji Makinde with Sports Update. Musa?
Federal government set to disburse 54 billion naira under conditional cash transfer as equities market and in positive territory.
Good news, Musa. Thank you. Ayo, what's happening?
All Nigeria junior Scrabble players are back in the country after their outstanding performance in Nairobi.
Well, they're welcome and we look forward to the details. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live. You can also follow us across social media. Our handles are displayed on the screen. And now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has arrived Japan for the annual Tokyo International Conference on African Development TICAD. After a stopover in Dubai, the Nigerian presidential flight 001 landed at the Haneda International Airport, Tokyo. The Nigerian leader was received by Ambassador Hideo Matsubara, Japanese ambassador in charge of TICAD. In Japan, the president will attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development TICAD 9 in the city of Yokohama from August 20th to the 22nd. With the theme, Co-Create Innovative Solutions with Africa, TICAD 9 will focus on Africa's economic transformation and improvements in the business environment and institutions through private investment and innovation. In addition to attending plenary sessions on the themes linked to the conference, the Nigerian president will hold bilateral meetings and meet the chief executive officers of some Japanese companies with investments in Nigeria. At the end of TICAD 9, President Tinubu will leave for Brasilia, the capital of the Federative Republic of Brazil, on a 2-day state visit from Sunday, August 24 to Monday, August 25. The state visit to Brazil is on the invitation of Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. The United Kingdom says it is optimistic about the current trajectory of Nigeria's economy, built on the back of what it acknowledges to be difficult but necessary reforms by President Bola Tinubu. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, said this during an audience with Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, at her office in the Villa. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
It's the first formal engagement between Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu and the British High Commissioner Richard Montgomery, along with his team.
You relate more
Their conversation,
with the government,
which centered around a shared interest in women empowerment, took off on a note of acknowledgement, applauding the impact of ongoing economic reforms in the country.
And indeed, the UK has an enhanced trade and investment partnership with Nigeria. We are watching with great interest the new opportunities being created by the reforms of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, your husband. And as I hope you have seen, the UK has been very public supporters of these very brave, bold and difficult reforms. We understand that these reforms create short-term challenges, but we see lots of positivity now in the economy, and our British business colleagues are looking at those opportunities.
Impressed by the track record of the Renewed Hope initiative as a special purpose vehicle delivering empowerment to women in key areas, the three-man delegation is here to also have a better understanding of its policy initiatives.
We are particularly interested in the work which the RHI and you yourself have done to promote women's empowerment But we have a very strong focus also on women's economic empowerment, both in the formal sector, such as banking, financial technologies, but also the informal sector.
Happy to avail our guest with details of RHI support for women in agriculture, business and ICT, the first lady also highlighted the limit placed on our interventions by lack of budget.
And we're trying to meet the challenges in different ways that we can. It's quite tough when you have an office and there is no budget that supports that office. People expect much from the wife of the president, when it comes to social issues. And I think we just have to step forward to take such responsibility.
She agreed with her guest that the number of women in the National Assembly is dwindling and promised to cooperate with ongoing process to improve the numbers. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the U.S. mission in Nigeria via its verified handle on X at U.S. in Nigeria has commended security agencies for the successful arrest of Ansaru leaders, including Mahmoud Muhammad, also known as Malam Mahmouda. Describing the feat as a significant movement in Nigeria's fight against terrorism, the U.S. mission in Nigeria's commendation is in reaction to an earlier post on X by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, on the capture of the Ansaru leaders, a recent significant breakthrough in the war against terrorism in Nigeria. Still on diplomatic ties, former Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo is advocating building stronger institutions to foster Africa's growth and development. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that Akufo-Addo, the lead speaker at the National Defense College Course 33 graduation lecture, notes that corruption remains Africa's greatest governance challenge, which needs to be addressed squarely.
Nigeria, with vast ungoverned space, has for decades experienced different security challenges. Terrorism in the northeast, banditry in the northwest and central, and IPOB in the southeast. Though these security challenges are partly attributed to institutional failure, the Minister of Defense stressed the commitment of the present administration in changing the tide.
Nigeria is committed to strengthening institutions for efficient governance. Evidently, leadership appointments, reforms, and new frameworks are deliberately designed to enrich accountability, professionalism, and coordination.
As the future strategic leaders, it is essential that you fully appreciate the pivotal role strong institutions play in delivering good governance. Without such institutions, there cannot be lasting security or sustainable development.
And holding the executive accountable.
The lead speaker at the event, former president of Ghana, focusing on strengthening institutions for good governance in Africa, harps on tackling corruption, reforming courts, security agencies, addressing poverty, adopt technology, and reduce donor dependency.
Africa's future will not be built by chance. It will be built by strong institutions and bold leadership. It will be built by very deliberate steps by a continent that is ready to evolve.
99 participants, including 23 officers from allied countries, are set to graduate in the course 33 of the prestigious military training institution. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
3 Division of the Nigerian military in Jos has handed over 220 recovered arms to the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. Ijoma Ozomena reports.
The federal government strategy of mopping up illicit weapons and control its proliferation approved the establishment of the center to institutionalize and mainstream its eradication efforts. In view of this, the Operation Safe Haven is stemming the tide of criminal attacks on communities and individuals. It's using both kinetic and non-kinetic approaches to ensure the mandate of the operation is achieved. The general officer commanding 3 divisions says the operations have led to the recovery of illegal weapons.
The combined effect of our efforts have led to the neutralization of numerous bandits in meeting engagements, arrest of suspects, recovery of weapons, as well as the arrest of gun runners and prosecution.
Receiving the recovered weapons, the Director General of the Center represented commended the leadership of OPSH for the success recorded.
2023, a sizable number of weapons were also recovered here. Today, we are here to take over more.
He urged the troops to sustain the tempo to curtail activities of criminals in their joint operation areas. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. Stay tuned for more news in a moment. Thanks for staying tuned. The House of Representatives is advocating a comprehensive national framework to tackle perennial flood disasters in the country. The leadership of the House made this known at the formal inauguration of an ad hoc committee on flood management and response. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikben reports.
This year, the National Emergency Management Agency disseminated early warning messages on flooding to high-risk areas across 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. Yet, 24 states are so far impacted by flood disasters while the rains are gaining momentum. The House of Representatives believes it is time to walk the talk. Hence, this ad hoc committee on flood management and response has the backing of the House to investigate the root causes and assess the preparedness and response mechanisms of relevant agencies at the national and state levels.
Every government at the local and state level, they know the flood is coming. They know. And sometimes they are using it to fleece the federal government because the presidency gives them money. Ecological fund, there's flood coming, 3 billion. Not one thing is done. And I think this must stop. Enough is enough.
The time for a piecemeal approach is over. As a country, we must change strategy and ensure that the life and properties of our people is not only protected, but is also safe.
The federal government, on its part, is stepping up efforts to stem the attendant humanitarian crisis by providing succor to Nigerians displaced by flood as well as other natural and man-made disasters.
Distribution of poverty in Nigeria, 65% of poor in Nigeria are in the northern part of the country, as against 35% in the southern part. And out of these 65%, almost more than 70 of them are farmers. And most of them are also affected by flooding.
Committee members have been asked to spare no effort to safeguard lives and livelihoods. From the National Assembly, Mitairi Ikben, NTA News.
In a separate but closely related development, the ordeal of motorists plying the Gombe-Bauchi road during the rainy season is over with the intervention of the federal government through the Northeast Development Commission, which has constructed bridges over portions washed out by rainwater. Emmanuel Akila reports.
The federal government has to come in as a matter of urgency and address this issue.
Governor Muhammadu Ino Yahya there, just like the motorists plying the Gombe-Bauchi road, with passionate appeal about the condition of the road when he visited the portion that totally collapsed in August 2023. The Northeast Development Commission NEDC heeds the appeals, therefore intervenes with the construction of long-span bridges at Kalchanga, Bara, and Tashan Turmi.
Business transactions at the Larski market on the Gombe-Bauchi border get better with the construction of the bridges at the portion that presented challenges to the people whose livelihood depends so much on the market.
With this development now, economically, socially, everybody is happy now.
When the intervention of Northeast Development Commission, the road is now good.
Looking at the mandate of the Northeast Development Commission, the MD of the commission, Mohammed Goni Al-Ghali, who has always been on the top of the game to see how we can reconnect the region in which it's part of our pillars, swing into action by collaborating with the Federal Ministry of Works together with the state in order to make sure that this pillar that we are having in our development master plan has been actualized.
The intervention by the NEDC has salvaged the hardship on the Gombe-Bauchi road, but the weather has shifted its attacks to the Gombe-Darazo road, which is begging for urgent attention before it finally cuts off people from that axis from the rest of the country. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Thank you, Manuel. A day of landmark developments in Kazauri, Jigawa State, where Governor Umar Namadi rolled out multi-billion naira infrastructure projects, empowered grassroots political leaders, and received a resounding vote of confidence from the people. Muhammad Musa Askira completes the story.
Umar Namadi has commissioned 28.5 kilometers Dandi to Gada Road and flagged off the construction of 13 kilometers Farun Daba to Galla, two strategic roads in Kazore local government area, valued at about 15 billion naira. The roads are expected to boost economic activities by linking key towns and villages within the area.
It is part of our 12-point agenda to construct access road for people to have an easy means of transporting their agricultural products to market, and also to have an easy means of transporting themselves to various places.
In the same visit, the governor flagged off the distribution of 127 motorcycles to all Progressives Congress ward chairmen across the state's northwest zone. The initiative, facilitated by Senator Babangida Hussaini, is aimed at enhancing mobility and strengthening party structures at the grassroots. While at the palace of the Emir of Kazore, Governor Namadi commissioned the newly upgraded palace structure and royal chambers, describing the edifice as a symbol of cultural heritage and unity. The governor later proceeded to a citizens engagement forum where community leaders and APC stakeholders unanimously passed a vote of confidence on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Governor Umar Namadi himself, and Senator Babangida Hussaini, commending them for fulfilling campaign promises. Governor Umar Namadi reassured people of his administration's resolve to continue partnering with the federal government to attract more dividends of democracy to Jigawa State. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Nigeria's telecommunications industry is set to attract $1 billion in various investments before the end of the year as the country strengthens its grip on a formidable digital economy. This was revealed in Abuja in a strategic engagement with media executives and the executive vice chairman of the Nigeria Communications Commission, Ayodeji Makinde, reports.
The Nigeria Communications Commission emphasized its commitment to enforcement and transparency, managing over 1,000 operators nationwide. NCC Executive Vice Chairman Aminu Maida reviewed plans to release consumer satisfaction, compliance and service quality indices aimed at boosting accountability and investor confidence.
Has an aspiration to build 90,000 kilometers of fiber, which is going to bring in approximately $2 billion of investment into the country. So what we need to grow this industry is fresh investment.
Issues like failed top-ups, confusing data plans, high call rates, fiber cuts and restricted access to telecom sites are under review, with a directive to all providers to simplify tariffs and data bundle plans.
Nobody is stealing the data. It was more of a perception issue. And every time we had them engage with their customers, there was this realization that flicking of YouTube I'm doing is consuming so much data. When I just open my hotspot and I allow everyone to connect, don't you realize that the person that is using your hotspot, are you in control of what he's doing?
The NCC reiterated that only verified and registered numbers remain active across networks. With over 100 million connected users and growing concerns over data consumption, tips on managing usage were shared. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Meanwhile, manpower gaps in the health sector are gradually receiving federal government attention to improve service delivery nationwide. The Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Mui Aino, stated this at the launch of a 5-day orientation program for newly recruited staff of the agency in Abuja.
We went through a process
of recruiting across Nigeria, from every state, from every locality, 126 young, vibrant people who will inject new energy and new ideas into the way we're doing things and succeed some of the retiring workforce. So to do that, we have to equip them as well. So many of these people will be deployed to our headquarters. Many of them will be deployed to any one of our 6 zonal sub-headquarters. Some will even be in specific state offices, working directly day to day with state primary healthcare development agencies and other state colleagues to deliver services.
The initiative aims to strengthen the primary healthcare workforce and ensure the delivery of quality basic health services to all Nigerians, regardless of their location or background. Now let's see what news Hingino in Lagos has for us. Hingino, over to you.
Thank you, Naja'atu, and welcome to Lagos. Minister of Works, David Umahi, has described recent online publications about ongoing road constructions in Lagos, including projected bridge rehabilitation, as mischievous and a misinformation. He made the clarification during an on-the-spot assessment of works at the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Lanre Gbele has details.
David Umahi stated that his presentation at the recent Federal Executive Council meeting concerning both the Third Mainland and Carter bridges lower deck, which has experienced considerable deterioration due to marine corrosion and illegal sand dredging that is exposing the piers under the water, is just an account of present status of the bridges, which the structural engineers gave through thorough investigation, insisting that no award for the bridges has been given.
So no approval has been given for any of them. We needed approval from the Federal Executive Council for constructive engagement. So when people say that we say they should approve this, there's nothing like that. We've not presented any figure for approval. We are giving them the idea of what Juno Beja said, and we say, listen, we don't trust that figure.
Earlier, the minister reacted to a publication online about the 750 legacy project. The online publication says that the project hasn't any drainage.
Social media starts to fly that, oh, there's no drainage. This is the only project in the whole country where you have 750 kilometers of roads, and you have 750 times 2 of underground drainage, all through. So what was in the social media was very misleading.
The minister states that intermittent showcasing of the level of work done to Nigerians will be taken seriously, which of course will go a long way to check misinformation and enlighten the people on government's intent of making sure its socio-economic and infrastructural commitment to Nigerians is on course. In Lagos, Lanre Gbele, NTA News.
Talking financial matters now, to increase the rate of tax compliance, Nigerians across various strata of society expect government at all levels to utilize the next 4 months window period for sensitization on the importance and expectations of the 4 new tax laws. This, they emphasize, is crucial before implementation commences on January 1, 2026. Amaka O reports.
The 4 Tax Reforms Act, signed into law on June 26th by the President, received commendations from various experts who consider the new reforms as a harmonized strategy and an additional boost to the nation's revenue earning base that will enable and deepen implementation of public services and foster economic growth.
There is a reduction in company income tax. It's called company income tax in Nigeria. That will persuade more investors to come to Nigeria and invest, which will bring more jobs for average Nigerians.
Experts believe that the harmonized law will promote transparency and accountability. As part of it stipulates that income earners who make 800,000 naira and below per annum are exempted from income tax, and 25% income tax for businesses that earn from 50 million naira and above per annum.
That will improve the economy, so that the lower people on income tax band, 800,000 naira downward, will have more money in their pockets.
Some Nigerians are of the view that understanding the Tax Reforms Act is imperative to cut down tax evasion and enhance compliance.
I don't really know much about it, but to go to everywhere, local area, so that people will understand more. People that are selling pepper, that are selling this now, so that they can tell them in their own local language.
So that is where government will have to work, our National Orientation Agency, to sensitize the people on the need first to pay their tax, and people must see to what use this tax we pay is being put into. If we talk about education, we talk about health, we talk about road infrastructure.
Ahead of the implementation in year 2026, the tax reforms signals a new dawn in the tax ecosystem. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. The news continues in Abuja after this break.
If you're just joining us, this is the network news on NTA, and the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission has hinted on plans to review allocations accruable to 3 tiers of government. The Commission's chairman, Mohammed Shehu, at a news conference in Abuja, emphasized that new dynamics in style of governance are propelling this quest. Kunle Adeyeye reports.
In the current revenue sharing formula, the federal government has the largest chunk of 52.8%, 26.7% goes to the states, while the third tier of government settles for the remaining 20.6%. With the recent economic and demographic transformation and devolution of certain responsibilities from the exclusive to the concurrent legislative list, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission sees a need to redistribute the sharing formula.
That states can carry out certain things that were exclusive to the federal government, which is in the Constitution now. The distribution of electricity, now a state can embark on that. The situation has made it essential to reevaluate the structure of fiscal federalism in order to foster economic growth in individual states, enabling them to become independent from the central government.
Carrying out this review, it's important to ensure that whatever money that is now going to states, by way of more allocations, should be ring-fenced. Because when you don't ring-fence money sent to subnationals, the money gets to them, and you can't really be sure of what the money is being used for.
The allocation formula was last reviewed more than 3 decades ago in 1992, with alterations from 2002 to date through executive orders. Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
And for more financial news, let's join our business desk with Musa Abubakar. Musa, tell us more about this cash disbursement. I heard you say cash earlier on. Tell us.
Of course, Naja. In the effort to empower vulnerable persons and reduce poverty in the country, the federal government is set to disburse 54.9 billion naira to more than 2 million households in August 2025 through the National Social Investment Program Agency under the National Conditional Cash Transfer Program. This was disclosed by the Minister of State for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu, during a courtesy visit by the delegation of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, led by the Director General Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi in Abuja. The minister further disclosed that before now, the federal government has disbursed 419 billion naira to 5,913,286 households under the Conditional Cash Transfer Program. The disbursement is unbiased and based on data that are verifiable. Dr. Sunudo further revealed that the federal government has commenced preparation through the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, GEEP, to provide 300,000 naira to 21,000 smallholder farmers in the country for dry season farming as a loan that is collateral and interest-free. The program is aimed at mitigating the effects of flooding on rainy season farming. Now to energy, oil prices edge up on Monday as investors awaited talks between U.S. President Donald Trump and his Ukrainian counterpart after an inconclusive U.S.-Russia summit in Alaska on Friday. Brent crude futures rose 34 cents or 0.52% to $66.19 a barrel by 12 p.m. Eastern Time. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was up at 38 cents or 0.61% at $63.18. And now to stock market, the Nigerian exchange closed today's trading session in positive territory as key indicators ended on a strong note. The all-share index rose to 144,722.47 points, reflecting sustained investor confidence in the market. Trading activity was upbeat, with investors executing 38,160 deals on the floor of the exchange. A total of 1.14 billion shares exchanged hands, valued at 16.17 billion naira. Meanwhile, the market capitalization of listed equities is settled at 91.56 trillion naira, further boosting overall market sentiment. Analysts attribute the upbeat performance to renewed buying interest in key blue chip stocks, which helped sustain the market's momentum. Well, that's business news. Najaz, back to you.
Thank you, Musa, for always tracking the money. Thank you, Musa, for always tracking the money. Fun fact, we call him Musa Millions in our newsroom. Thank you, Musa. President Bola Tinubu congratulates the Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dr. Samuel Obuku, on his 50th birthday on August 19, 2025. The President notes the NDDC's efforts under Obuku in infrastructure development and interventions in health, agriculture, and environmental remediation. The President prays for Dr. Obuku's continued good health, wisdom, and many more years of impactful service to the nation, extending his best wishes for a joyous and memorable celebration. We have more news. Do stay tuned. 25 passengers have so far been rescued and 7 motorcycles recovered from the boat mishap which occurred on Sunday in Gwaranyu local government area of Sokoto State. Federal and state government agencies, in collaboration with local divers, are intensifying search and rescue efforts to trace those who are still missing. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports.
The canoe capsized with over 50 passengers, 9 motorcycles and farm products on board. Out of the number, 25 passengers were rescued and 7 motorcycles recovered. The driver narrates his ordeal.
Mun zo da jirgi sai taguwar iska ta ruwa sai ta bugo cikin jirgin.
National Emergency Management Agency NEMA and National Inland Waterways Agency NIWA officials quickly responded by sending their teams to the scene to assist with rescue efforts.
The federal government always emphasized that safety first. Safety first. Put on life jacket, don't overload, don't overspeed. So all these variables are not for everybody, it's for our safety.
Governor of Sokoto State, represented by his deputy, condoled families of the victims, providing them with 20 million naira and 100 bags of rice support. The Minister of State for Works, Bello Muhammad Gwaranyo, represented, also sympathized with the victims' families, donating 2 million naira to ease their sufferings.
People need to be very careful on noting the capacity at which this machine could take. And he has a plan to provide a modern boat that will replace these old ones that we are using, so that it will mitigate further occurrence of this event.
The boat mishap is a reminder on the importance of giving the issue of maritime safety the attention it deserves, and the need for regular inspections and enforcement of safety regulations. From Sokoto, Abdullahi Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
Ayodeji Makinde is standing by with sports news. Ayo, I hear we're talking taekwondo.
Obviously, you're correct. We'll begin with martial arts, where Nigeria Taekwondo Federation is building capacity of referees by organizing a seminar and certification course ahead of Open G1 tournament, the World Taekwondo G2 Junior Cadets Championships and the Team Junior Championship in Abuja. The refresher program is designed to equip umpires with the latest global best practices while also strengthening their core officiating to meet international standard. About 20 African countries will participate in the Nigeria Open from August 23 to 26.
For athletes, but this is an opportunity. We have over 20 athletes registered to compete in the Nigeria Open, and here they are going to get ranking points, good ranking points that can help them even at the World Championship, which is coming up later in this year.
It is important that referees must know the rules, so that for the fairness of the game, so that athletes play fairly also towards their counterparts.
Team Nigeria to the Pan-African Youth Scrabble Championships landed in Lagos earlier this evening after their outstanding performance in Nairobi, Kenya, where they won the Under-19 and Under-15 individual and team trophies. In the Under-15 category, Sophia Ekeruche went unbeaten with 18 games with a massive cumulative points of plus 3,871, while Hassan Olojoku came third with 13 victories for 1,387 points, behind Kenya's Kinsley Odhiambo, who finished second with 14 wins and plus 583 points. Prestige Archibong also reigned supreme in the Under-19 category. Let's check out the world of football, where former France international Lassana Diarra has taken his compensation battle back to the Belgian courts after failed settlement talks with FIFA. Known for his combative nature as a midfielder with Chelsea and Real Madrid while actively playing professional football, the 40-year-old draws support from FIFPro and the French Players Union to seek damages over FIFA's unlawful transfer rules. This follows a landmark ruling by the Court of Justice of the European Union in October 2024, which declared FIFA's transfer regulations illegal. And let's also quickly tell you that there's a new twist to the future of Sweden and Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak, who is not certain to attend the 2025 Professional Footballers Association Awards on Tuesday. The 25-year-old, who scored 23 goals and further registered 6 assists, has been the subject of a transfer tussle between the Magpies and Liverpool. Isak, who was nominated for the Player of the Year award, was crucial as Newcastle United won the Carabao Cup last season. And that's your sports. It's back to Najatu.
Thank you very much, Ayodeji, for giving us those updates. President Bola Tinubu expresses heartfelt condolences to Professor Nentawe Yiwada, the national chairman, APC, on the demise of his mother, Lydia Yiwada, who died at the age of 83. President Tinubu describes her as a woman of virtue who lived a dedicated life of faith and service to her community. The president enjoins the APC chairman to accept her death as the will of Almighty God and be consoled by the life of purpose Mama Lydia lived. Meanwhile, the APC has also described the passing of Lydia Yiwada, mother of the party's national chairman, as a loss to the nation. In a statement signed by APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Moka, the party describes Mama Lydia as a compassionate character whose contributions to the church and humanity remain indelible. Vice President Kashim Shettima and Governor Babagana Umar Zulum were among hundreds of sympathizers at the funeral of Muhammad Modumanga held in Maiduguri. The deceased was brother-in-law to the vice president. The funeral was also attended by other dignitaries, including Chief Whip of the Senate, Muhammad Tahir Monguno, Senator Kakashehu Lawan, member representing Maiduguri Metropolitan at the House of Representatives, Abdulkadir Rahis, and Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari. The congregation prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased and for the family to bear the loss. The deceased is survived by 4 children and wife Hajja Zara Shettima, elder sister of the Vice President. On that note, we conclude the network news on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani.